Hello, everybody. I'm Amelia.
I'm Tom, and it's Monday.
It is Monday. This is the first. Yeah. I think it's 3 weeks after the killing of George Floyd. So that's a more sobering connection with it being Monday. So we are.
And with this story.
What?
And with this story.
Yes, as well. Okay. Yeah. Well, we'll see how that connection works out. So Tom's going to tell a story from Matthew chapter 10. And take it away, Tom.
All right. This is the story. Background, Jesus is talking to prospective disciples and teaching them about what it means to be his disciple. So a disciple is not greater than his teacher, nor is a slave greater than the master. It's enough that a disciple be like the teacher and the slave like the master. If they have called the master of the house Beelzebul, how much more will they malign those of his household? Do not fear them. There is nothing secret or hidden or that has been covered up that will not be uncovered. And there's nothing secret that will not be made known. What I have said to you in the darkness, tell in the light. And what I've whispered to you, proclaim from the housetops. Do not fear those who kill the body, but cannot kill the soul. Fear instead the one who has the power to destroy both soul and body in hell. Aren't 2 sparrows sold for a penny? And not one of them falls to the ground apart from your Father. Even the hairs on your head have all been counted. You are of much more value than many sparrows, so don't be afraid. Those who acknowledge me before others, I will acknowledge before my Father in heaven. And those who deny me before others, I will deny before my Father in heaven. Do not think that I have come to bring peace on the earth. I have not come to bring peace, but a sword. I have come to set a person, I have set one against his father, and a mother, and a daughter against her mother, and a daughter-in-law against mother-in-law. And one's foes will be the members of one's own household. Whoever loves father and mother more than me is not worthy of me. And whoever loves son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. And whoever does not take up the cross and follow me is not worthy of me. Those who find their life will lose it. But those who lose their life for my sake will find it.
Thanks, Tom. So this story is, it's all like a speech from Jesus. If we were listening to him, back in the day, who would he be talking to? Who would we be? Who would he be talking to?
Well, he'd be talking to prospective disciples and to those who were following him as to whether they were going to be willing to leave their homes, their fathers and mothers and sons and daughters, and follow him, whether or not they were willing to take the risks that were associated with being his followers, because they were attacking him. They were going to attack anyone who was associated with him. And so it was the people that were opposed to his proclamation of the kingdom of God, to this new age that were the problem. And so he was addressing the risks and the consequences, the costs of being his disciple. As I have worked with this, what's become clear to me is we have domesticated this so much and have reduced discipleship to a mere just a part of how radical it was in its context.
Okay, well, at the very beginning of the story, Jesus references Beelzebub. Who is Beelzebub? Am I saying that right?
Beelzebul.
Beelzebul. I'm not sure if that came through when you were telling it. I think we had a little internet glitch there. So say that name for us again, and then tell us who was this? Who was it?
Well, Beelzebul was a name for the prince of demons. It was another word for Satan. So they called Beelzebul. And so to call what he said is, if they have already called the master of the house, that is me, Beelzebul, how much more will they attack and malign those who are of his household? So if they've attacked me like this, they will also attack you. But don't be afraid of them.
Okay, well, who's the them? Who are we not supposed to be afraid of?
They were the people who were seeking to maintain law and order. They were the advocates of the law. They were a class who were in danger of being marginalized if there was a major revolution of the peasants whom Jesus was teaching and who he was telling the disciples to go out and talk to proclaim it, to proclaim the kingdom of God, with all the risks thereunto appertaining. But they had major opposition. It's clearly the case that he is both anticipating this and that these sayings were told in the context of that kind of opposition. He says, don't be afraid of those who kill the body, but do not have the power to kill the soul. Well, killing the body was a significant thing. And so the reality was that there were people who were out to kill him. And eventually they did.
All right. Yeah. When you mentioned that those who were against them were kind of the law and order types, I mean, given all that's going on, I immediately saw all these pictures we've been seeing of peaceful protesters who are, many of whom are people of faith, not all, but a lot of them, a lot of young people coming up against militarized police.
Yeah.
I mean, is that an appropriate connection with this story? Or am I
Well,
going too far?
yes, it is. No, Jesus wasn't arrested by friends around the corner. He was arrested by soldiers and by the police of the high priest in Jerusalem. And he was arrested by them because he was threatening the order of things with the high priests in power and the Romans in power enforcing the law. And so it was both the advocates of the law, of the laws of Israel, of the Jewish law, which oppressed women and poor people and so on. And Jesus was attacking that by his ministries. Many of the stories that are clearly in that context, that they were criticizing, offended by the radicality of what he was doing and saying.
Right. Yep. Okay. Well, another question. Jesus says, "What I tell you in the dark, let's see, say, tell in the light. What I say to you in the dark, tell in the light," which was interesting to me because biblical stories, darkness is equated with something that's bad. It doesn't seem to be the case here, which is something to notice, I think.
Yeah.
But what is his disciples in the dark?
Well, they were the secrets of the kingdom of God. They were the secrets of the messianic secret that he to some degree kept secret about his identity. But it's what happens with revolutionaries. They teach things in secret because if they get caught telling it openly, in this case, Jesus says, what I've told you in the darkness, proclaim in the light. So he is encouraging them to take the things that are being said in secret, that are being done privately with them, and to proclaim it, to everyone.
Okay. I'm going to skip past this wonderful section in the middle about the sparrows, and how we're worth more than the sparrows, which I love. One of my very favorite songs is, has to do with sparrows. And but that whole section is very important, I think, for affirmation of Jesus' disciples, those who would follow his way.
Yeah. God will take care of them.
Right, exactly. But I am going to kind of skip by that because it's not quite as problematic. When we get to the end of the story, again, it gets to be more difficult. Because Jesus is talking about a sword, bringing a sword. And, we like to think, you're always talking about Jesus as the Messiah of peace, and he never killed anybody, and he didn't raise up an army. But here he's talking about a sword. And also about divisiveness. I mean, these days, we're constantly lamenting how divisive our politics are, how divided our country is. But here he's all about being divisive. So help us understand that a little bit, if you would.
Well, he recognized that the proclamation of the kingdom of God and his mission to declare the kingdom of God would be divisive, and that people would be divided by whether or not to follow him and whether or not to believe this, and to advocate what he was advocating. So when he talks about a sword, clearly he does not mean go to war. He's not advocating revolution. There's no evidence that that's the case, that's the case in relation to what people did or of what he did. But the sword is the sword that will happen in families. That children, adults, whatever, members of the family will follow him, and others will not. Some will be in favor of what he's proclaiming, others will not. And that there'll be a division, and that people then will attack those members of the family who are advocating this new age and the policies of that. I remember that in my own family. I was, my advocacy of the civil rights movement and the resistance to the war in Vietnam. My father was on the verge of disowning me, and so I remember that vividly. It does happen, and Jesus is describing that. So don't be surprised when this happens. It will happen, and it does.
Yeah. Yes, I've heard other people talk about how they're following their understanding of Jesus's way has created a lot of tension with family members. And, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so the very last line, those who lose their life will find it, and those who, let's see.
Those who find their life.
Yeah, find their life will lose it. Help us understand that.
Well, the issue is, you leave your family, follow me, become then a disciple, an apostle, one who is sent to announce the kingdom of God. And those who think they've found their life will lose it. But whoever loses their life for my sake, that is, those who follow me to the end and follow me whatever the consequences, even death, they will save their life. They will find it. They will find their life in this new way, in advocacy of the kingdom of God and of following Jesus.
Well, let's hope that we all will be able to find our lives by losing them.
Yeah. Well, it's not an easy road to walk.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
That's true. Okay, well, thanks for joining us today, and we hope you have a good week. God bless you all.
Right.
Tell a story.
Right.